80% of women go after 20% of men, and there is basically a scale on that, how women that were basically on the bottom tier of their social value or sexual value, however he defined it, were going after guys that were, you know, 7s, 8s, 9s, and 10s. Now he's describing that on a scale of like 1 to 10 on your attractiveness or your value in the market, right? So basically what that means is that because of social media, because of basically because of social media, I guess, and everyone using their phone all the time, there's a lot of positive confirmation or attention that the average woman can get, and so her perceived value of what she actually is much higher than what she really is. So a woman that's average looking, you know, a lot of times thinks she can do better than that, and that goes for men too. I mean, a lot of times the goal of someone is to try to get better than what they are or what they feel they are, and so they don't want to settle, I guess, whatever that means. That means a lot of different things to different people, but so really what it is that men will sleep around with a lot of women because it's easy and they don't have to work for it. So guys that are towards the top of the scale will sleep around with a lot of different women. They'll sleep around with women that are much lower on the attractiveness scale, and they'll try to sleep around with as good a looking woman as they can, right? But for men, a lot of men who are maybe in the middle, or you know, anywhere from like a 3 to 6 out of 10 on as far as attractiveness, what he was saying and what the article kind of confirmed is that it's kind of hard for them to get attention in the marketplace unless they're, you know, really pursuing someone, or have maybe they're willing to do things for the other person, such as provide, or they have to be really well, you know, they have to have some game, right? They have to be able to speak with women very well and have a lot of charisma and that sort of thing. But really, all a woman has to do, if she's a 3, 4, 5, you know, she can still get attention from guys that are much better looking than her. So again, I don't have an opinion one way or the other on it. I just kind of see what I see, and I think that's mostly true. I mean, part of it is men's fault. I mean, they're the ones that are kind of drooling over women and giving them positive confirmation and liking a bunch of photos on social media. If you go look at just like there can be the difference between men and women on social media is crazy. Like a woman that has no talent, she's not advertising anything, she's just posting pictures of herself, right? Or posting pictures of something she's doing. She has no talent, she's not doing anything, she's just posting pictures of herself, right? Which, if you want to say that's talent, okay, but there's a lot of women who have nothing to offer other than just photos of themselves online, and they have like tens of thousands of followers, or sometimes even more. And that's very common, right? You can have, maybe there's women that have like 5,000 followers and they only follow like 200 people, but the same looking guy has no followers, right? Because women don't do that. Women aren't the ones that are going out there and following people just because they maybe find them attractive. It's typically men doing it, and they're giving them all this attention and basically attention online. And so again, it just makes them feel like they have a lot of options and that they never want to settle down. And it's just human nature, you know. If you feel like you have a lot of different people that are like adore you and they are commenting nice things to you, and there's people that want to spend time with you, then you kind of feel like it's tough to just settle down with one person or to really give one person your attention. And I think that goes both ways. I think if men You know, I've said it before, if I was just all of a sudden getting a bunch of attention from females, I would find it hard to want to resist that, right? If I had 15 different people wanting to talk to me basically all the time, I think that would be very odd, but it would also be like, wow, this kind of feels pretty good. There's a lot of people that want to talk to me. They don't know anything about me. They literally don't know anything about me, but they're just talking to me based on the way I look. And I'm getting a lot of inquiries from people I didn't do anything. There's just people messaging me saying, you know, I want to do this, I want to do that, how are you, what's going on? They want to talk to you, right? And chase you. So in large part, that just doesn't happen for men. Now, men kind of need to learn on that and say, you know what, I'm not going to chase down women anymore, because it's kind of futile, right? It's futile or futile, I don't know, whatever way you want to pronounce it. But if there's 10 other men chasing an average woman, I mean, your odds are 10%. And usually it's more than 10 people. So that's why I think marriage rates are going down. And you know, the top value guys that are like 6'5", you know, good looking, they can pretty much show up, and they can have, with very minimal work, they can have a lot of women kind of chasing them. But for even an average guy that's, you know, pretty good looking, you know, maybe he's 6 feet tall or maybe just a little bit shorter, that's what he was saying in his video, is that basically women just don't even look at you. I mean, I was reading the comments on that video, and people were like, yeah, just go out in public to a public place, and, you know, you can go to a sporting event or a concert or something, because now that those are back, or even somewhere like here, we're in a park where there's maybe a lot of people, you could see a lot of young women there who are in their early 20s, or, you know, close to 30. But you just have to look at if how long they look at you, and then they look away, like, instantly, right? Someone was commenting like, yeah, I used to have women look at me, you know, they'd look at me for a while, and then, you know, that felt good to have someone look at me. I could tell that they were looking at me, right? But now it's like, hey, if you're getting looked at by a woman, you're probably, like, you can tell when someone's kind of looking at you for longer than normal, right? And a lot of 100% of that is just based on your looks. But now, with just everything the way it is, I feel like people were basically saying no one really looks at me anymore, and you have to be basically incredibly attractive to catch the eye of even a very compatible female, you know, someone that's maybe not great looking herself, but because of social media and the internet, you know, they've been conditioned to think they can get the absolute best and to not settle for anything. And, you know, I don't have a problem with any of that. If they don't want to settle, you know, it's not a good word to say that, but it's they can do whatever they want. And some women that are what most people would define as average, it's very possible they can get a higher quality guy. Although I would say for most of them, that's not going to be the case. You know, most of them are going to be spending their best years when they're physically very attractive, good looking, you know, energetic, fun to be around. They're going to spend that time, you know, having a good time, because when you're living in the moment, you don't really think about what the future holds. You're just living in the moment, and then all of a sudden, you know, the years go by, you don't look the same, you look older. There's always newer models coming out. You know, it's like having a car. As the years go by and by and by, there's more models that come out, and your car becomes less valuable and less attractive, right? So that's just the reality of the situation. You become older. The men that you're interested in that are maybe good looking and young, or your age even, they're now interested in the newer models, the ones that are in their 20s. And that's just nature. So for a lot of women they don't partner up with someone when they're in their 20s, because they don't have to, because they're having a good time just playing the field. And then as soon as they get to be 30, they realize, you know what, I'm 30, I'm no longer 20. I don't have a close group of friends that are crazy. We're not going out drinking every night. I'd kind of like to have like a family, or I'd like to have someone that I can count on that's there for me. And maybe I'd like to have kids too someday. And I realize I'm kind of getting older. And so all of a sudden their priorities change, and now it's hey, I you know, what are my options? You know, and now they realize, well, you know what, I can no longer get that guy that I was looking for, because that guy that I was looking for, that's 6'2" or 6'4", good looking, in great shape, he's not interested in me at all. And so then they have to kind of I guess settle. But a lot of guys now are waking up to that and saying, you know what, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be basically your last resort option. And I'm just gonna be single and focus on what I want to do. And maybe I'll, you know, if I keep myself in good shape, even if I'm 35, 40, 45 years old, you know, you might be able to land with a 20, 25-year-old woman, because those are the women that just want to have fun. So they're asking the guy, really what women now are asking the guy to do is, hey, I know for most guys, it's like, hey, my 20s are hard. You know, women don't really pay attention to me. I don't have financial resources yet. I can't provide a lavish lifestyle that a good-looking woman's going to want. And so I'm largely ignored by all women my age. And then, so the women are asking, hey guys, I know your 20s sucked, or maybe I don't even care, but now that you're 38 instead of 28, or now that you're 35 instead of 25, I'm going to ask you you didn't have any fun in your 20s, and now you're not going to have any fun in your 30s, because you're with me now. We're not going to be having fun. We're going to be having a family. You're going to be providing for me, and now your life's defined. It's over. You have no more options. Not sure what that guy's doing. And I don't think that any guy that has any like individuality is not going to want to do that. They're not going to want to say, hey, you know, you didn't pay attention to me and you had all your fun, and now you come running back to me when you want to settle down and you realize you can't get what you wanted, and I'm the second choice. It's not a good basis to have a relationship, right? So I think that's really what's happening. You know, guys, that's why you see a lot of guys in their mid 30s and 40s and even 50s that are single, and they're having fun with women that are 20 to 30 years old, right? Because those are the women that are fun to be around. Hey, they're really good looking. I'm attracted to them. They don't have kids. They don't have a lot of emotional baggage, and it's just going to be a carefree, fun time, right? And likewise, on the other side, women that are in their 20s, hey, this guy's 40, he's a little more sophisticated, he has money, he's able to take me on trips, I like the attention he gives me, he makes me feel good about myself. And so it's just the flip side. Men's value when they're young is low, and then as they get older, the typical male has more resources, and that's attractive to women that are younger. And so you can't have it both ways. You know, you can't ask for the guy in his 20s to be ignored by women, and then when he actually has some resources when he's maybe 40, to say, you know what, okay, I'm not going to have any fun, I'm just going to settle down with you because you're ready. And it's not that that's good or bad, that's just human nature. Women have very high value when they're attractive, young, fun. You know, they have a good time, they're fun to be around. But I would say as women get older, you know, once they get into their 30s and they're more career oriented, because that's becoming a thing now, it's like, hey, yeah, there's a lot more women that are, you know, they're focused on their career, they make more money than men maybe, and they're not as much fun to be around probably, right? They're just not. That's why you see most men that are 40 or 35, I mean, they're typically dating women that are in their 20s. It's very common, right? I'm not saying it's maybe the most common thing, but you know, it's going to be very rare for a guy in his 20s to be dating a woman that's close to 40. It just does not happen often. It just doesn't. So I would be really scared as a woman to be 30, 35 years old and to not have you know, again, to a lot of these women, actually having a family is important. You know, to me, I don't really know if it is, and I don't really care, because I'm not, you know, I would never expect like a woman to take care of me, I guess. I just wouldn't. So, but for women that, you know, hey, I spent my 20s basically having a good time and hanging out with a lot of different guys that did all these nice things for me. When they reach their 30s, 35 years old, and they realize, uh-oh, these guys aren't paying attention to me, and they're definitely not going to spend money on me anymore. So I'm kind of in trouble here. I better find someone that's going to try to support me here and settle down. Otherwise, I'm not going to have a family, and I'm going to have to find a job and work the rest of my life, right? I don't have anyone taking care of me. I'm not going to have any kids. I'm going to have a normal job for the next 20, 30 years. And for a lot of them, that's kind of depressing. Hell, it's depressing to me, right? But to me, I don't really care. Like, I don't, you know, family to me is a big responsibility. It's a big decision, and I think you have to be prepared in all areas of your life to do that, which a lot of people aren't. And so if you're not, then it's just like, hey, I don't think I'm going to have a family. But so it's just kind of unfortunate, right? It's like, hey, a lot of these women probably would be happier if they, you know, if they really did want a family, then they probably should have tried to get married or find the right guy by the time they're like 27, 28, which seems reasonable. But too much time goes by. They're focused on other things, you know, because a lot of them now are, you know, like I said, they're going to college more, they're making more money. They don't want to date men that are inferior as far as financial income. So that shortens the pool even more. Not only do you have to be good looking, not only do you have to be a good earner, you know, you have to have, well, I guess what I'm saying is, it used to just be, you got to be good looking, but now it's, you got to be good looking, you have to make a good income, and you have to make more money than me, right? Because I think a lot of them are like, hey, I don't want to date someone that makes less money than me, right? Because that's not manly. So I think it's just hard. I think it'll be harder for the average guy to do anything, and a lot of them probably just going to be single, right? You know, being single is not bad at all. You know, there's certainly things that most people would say it's an advantage to be in a relationship for some aspects of your life, but there's a lot of freedom in just being single. You don't have any real responsibilities. You know, you can do what you want with the resources you have. You know, if you keep yourself in decent shape, you can still go out and try to have female companionship or whatever, right? So again, to me, it's just always been about the work required. It's like, I've always felt like if anything was going to happen with, as far as dating goes, that I was going to have to do everything. Like, I was going to have to be the initiator. I was going to have to deal with all the rejection. I was going to have to go chase that down. It's very similar to like a sales job, right? It's like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. The payoff is zero and the work is terrible, right? I got to go do this. I got to go buy people drinks. I got to chase them down, follow up with them, just so that they'll spend some time with me. It's like, fuck you. I don't want to do that, right? Go fuck yourself. And that's the era we live in. People now are just totally, they're all individuals. They don't want to be bothered with anything. They feel like, everything's on demand. I don't need to hang out with you. I can do whatever I want because I have my phone. And it's also changed the idea of really everything, People now, it's like I have to have everything in one person. He's not tall enough. He doesn't make enough money. He doesn't clean the bathroom, his car's really dirty. He doesn't know how to change a tire. My dad doesn't like him. Any little thing is enough to just completely derail a common relationship now, or a modern relationship now. Because that's what people feel. It's like, well, the perfect person's out there for me. I just have to find him. Well, yeah, but how long is that going to take? And by the time that you maybe find the perfect person, are they really going to like you? Because maybe your value's gone down. I mean, I know I've had that attitude. It's like no one wants to maybe date someone that they don't find attractive, but at the same time, it's like if you don't understand what your value is, then you're never going to date anyone, right? Because you always think you're better than everyone else. And I think that's what most people think today. It's like, I don't ever want to settle down or commit myself to one person, because then I would be pigeonholing myself to this one person. So, I don't know, it's just kind of rambling about that topic. I do think it's true, though. I mean, 80% of guys, I think, do not do well in dating. I don't even think they date. Especially guys in like their mid-20s, probably early 30s. Because they have to do everything. What woman is just going to ask an average-looking guy out? Even if you're on a dating app, you don't get any attention. You don't get any attention. Like if you're a normal guy, you're not great looking, but you're in decent shape and you're average, you don't get any attention, because a average looking girl can match with a very good looking guy. And so it's a waste of time to be on those. And your only hope is to go in person, to go to bars or something and try to strike up conversation with people. But even then you're at a disadvantage, because you have to overcompensate in other areas. You have to really be a good communicator or funny, because they look at you and they're like, well, this guy's not that attractive. I guess he's kind of funny, but I'm not really attracted to him. He doesn't seem to be a high earner. He's not tall. He's not very good looking. And so you are expected to overcompensate for all those things you lack. And the woman just gets to sit there and judge you, right? Because you're the one that approached her. She didn't have to do anything. And so she just sits back and is like, okay, well, how is this guy going to entertain me? Keep entertaining me, keep entertaining me. The moment you stop entertaining me, I'm done with you, right? Meanwhile, she doesn't have to do anything. She just sits there and is going through all of her options. So again, like I said, I think a lot of that is men's fault. It's the man's fault. Why are you chasing down women? Why are you doing it? Why are so many people doing it? There's no return, right? It's like you realize that when you're doing that, there's 5, 10, 15 other guys that are doing the same thing, even to an average woman, and they get a rise out of that. They like, oh yeah, I'm getting attention from all these people. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel special. And I'm never going to settle because people tell me I'm so great and so beautiful and that I should never settle down. And so I'm only going to go after, the Brad Pitts, the perfect guys they have great incomes and they're very attractive and they excite me in every way. And they're also open to me being polyamorous and, well, maybe not, but just all that shit, right? So, and I think the older guys they realize that. The problem is guys that are like in their early 20s and late teens, it doesn't matter because they're so hardwired to chase women. But as they play the game for a little bit and they go around the block and they realize, hey, if I'm not like a top tier guy here, if women just aren't receptive to me right off the bat, then I'm gonna have a hard time being successful. And I think most guys figure that out after like probably 5 years. And then they spend, you know, like their mid-20s. If they get any success, they're having to really work at it. And by the time they're 30, they're like, you know what, fuck this. I'm done with this. I'm going to focus on other things, and you know, I'm not going to waste my time with these people. They don't even know I exist. And then again, that's what happens. They spend their late 20s and early 30s and 30s maybe working on their career or whatever, and then by the time they're late 30s or 40s, that's when they've reached their value. Then they can start dipping down with the 20-year-old women, 25-year-old women again, because they have more confidence, they have financial resources, they have a nicer vehicle, they have maybe a home that's nice, and they're going to attract females with that. If they want to. A lot of guys just are completely removed from that, and the funny thing is, women actually find that attractive. Like if they see you show up in a nice car and you're decently well dressed and you're in decent shape and you're 35 and you just don't pay them any attention, then they're kind of like, well, why isn't this guy paying me any attention? All these other guys pay attention to me, and I thought I was good looking, and for whatever reason this guy doesn't, you know, he's basically not paying attention to me. That actually attracts them even more, because they want to win your attraction, right? It's like, you know, it's like hunting. It's literally like hunting, you know? It's like hunting. That's what it's like. And that's why I said it's very similar to like a sales job. It's like the woman is encouraged to, or she's driven to get the kill. Like once the guy is chasing her, then it's a kill. And she's like, yes, I got the guy to pay attention to me. I'm great. And let's move on to the next one, because I want to get that high of having people be interested in me. And then I'll just basically, I'm never going to really date anyone, but I just like the attention I'm getting from it. Again, I'm not saying one thing on it one way or the other. I just think it's human nature. I think to me as a guy though, like for me, and I don't know if women are the same, but for me it's like, hey, you know, I think I'd probably be pretty happy with someone that was that I was attracted to, and I got along with well, and was relatively easygoing. I think for me that's it, and I don't think that's a huge stretch. I think a lot of men feel the same way. It's like, hey, I'm not asking for Angelina Jolie here. I understand what I am. I understand where I stand in the marketplace, and I'm okay with that, I guess. But a lot of times it's just not the case, right? It's just not. You don't even get recognized, so there's really no point to even play the game. So those are my thoughts on it. I don't know, I'm kind of rambling on about nothing as usual, but if you guys are new, let me know what you think. It's always interesting getting some comments from people on this subject, and I'll say again, it's pretty difficult talking to yourself, especially because I don't really edit anything out, as far as all of the ums and all of the pauses and what I'm doing. And I'm trying to ride a motorcycle, so that makes it even more difficult. And I'm trying to remember like stuff to talk about that I haven't already talked about, so it's relatively difficult to do. But let me know what you guys think. You know, I think most men are relatively simple. They just want someone they're attracted to and easygoing, and that's it. And as far as what women want, I think they want similar things. Attractive. They want to be attracted to the person. They want the person to be relatively easygoing. But I think there's a bunch of other criteria that's also there. Like I said, the money, the status, you know, the looks, because they're constantly getting attention. Again, to me, if I was in a relationship and I was happy, I wouldn't even, like, first of all, women don't pay attention to me, but even if they did, it's like, I wouldn't really even care. It's like, I'm already in a relationship. I'm already happy. Like, I don't feel the need to, if I really like the other person, it's like, I don't feel the need to talk to a bunch of other people or have people chase me down. Like, I don't even want that, because I'm already happy with someone else. But I feel like women, they, you know, hey, they just get so many inquiries that it's hard to ignore them. All right, well, that's the end of the video. I could talk about this all day, and I'm going in circles. If you guys are new, comment, subscribe if you want to, and as always, have a good day, stay safe. Bye-bye.